it is obvious that the mark of the beast comes with the greatest condemnation in the Bible. And it comes with the severest sentence in the Bible, and it is handed down by the eternal judge. Say amen if you understand what I'm saying. Those who receive the mark of the beast are those who will receive the greatest condemnation and the most severe sentence from the eternal judge. The most awesome threats in all the New Testament are against those who choose man's law ahead of God's law. The 7 last plagues, Revelation 16, they fall upon those who receive the mark of the beast. And I read to you from Revelation 14 that God's wrath will be poured out without mixture. Every time God has sent judgments in the earth, it has been mixed with mercy. They have been mixed with mercy and grace. But when the final time comes, probation will have closed. It'll be too late to pray. The decree will have gone forth. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And when that happens, probation closes. No more sermons. You don't have to come to church anymore. You don't have to listen to a preacher anymore. It's too late now. The jig is up. If anybody talk to me like I'm talking to you, I get stirred up. I'm not trying to be facetious or cute. I'm trying to make you think.
The Bible says that 666 is the number of a man. So that all of us with ears to hear this, listen intently and understand. This man speaks blasphemous words against God, his organization that has a plan. You side with them, and you will receive a mark, either on your forehead or on your hand. See, the forehead mark means the choice was made conscientiously for you to go against him. The one in your hand shows you're just a follower or got caught sleeping out here on this fence. The Bible also says this man in 6s thinks he has the ability to alter God's set times and laws, to bring about chaos and wars, confusing God's people and raising questions, resulting in pause. How dare he stand himself in the place of God on earth as if by some divine ordination he received this title. The vicar of Christ, I doubt that seriously, and all you did was make God your rival. I don't know about you, but beefing with God is not something on my bucket list that I want to do. See, I said, I don't know about you, but beefing with God is not something on my bucket list that I want to do, because he keeps it true, and by he I mean God, the Ancient of Days, the Almighty says he's I am. With him to stand is my plan. His hand, my hand, can't see this happening any other way. See, playing with fire can get folk burnt. Don't learn the hard way, we gotta get with God now. The beast is ready, his mark is in his hand. Don't let its false doctrine become your final shroud.
Ladies and gentlemen, judgments of God against those who get the mark are the most chilling in all of Scripture. And the sentence is the second death, which is the worst sentence that one can receive. Serious? You better believe it.
You better open your eyes. This is the end, and it's not disguised. Look and see how these times fly. These last events, they've been prophesied. Please, don't be a fool. I came to let you know, 'cause it's time to go to school. You better obey.
Welcome to Real Talk 101, here on a Sunday afternoon in Voxwave Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. We back in the studio. My name is Brad Trammell. To my left, I got my co-pilot, Mr. Orlando Boyd, and we have our regular Mr. Darian Claxton to my right. Greetings to you all. It's been a while since I've been here, at least about 3 weeks, so there's various things I could talk about, but we're going to see where the show goes. If it's the first time joining us, you know what we do around here. We expose the devil for who he is, with real life testimonies, revelations, and experiences that we've occurred, and then we walk through it the way that the Most High sent his Ruach, his Holy Spirit, to speak through us and show us step by step is what happened, what has happened, and what has transpired. And we reveal the devil and his tactics through it, and we also reveal how the Most High has kept us through these experiences and these revelations. As we usually do, we start off with prayer requests. We jump into prayer. Brothers, you got any prayer requests on your mind, man?
Prayer requests. Yeah, I'm asking that the Most High would allow his spirit to infiltrate relationships
Infiltrate. Okay.
Like, people going through stuff in their relationship, whether it be marriage, friends, baby mommy, baby daddy type stuff, whatever your interaction is. I'm not gonna say that. I can't say that. I was about to throw another type of relationship out there, but I can't condone it, so I'm not gonna say it. But the Most High knows the hearts of those that are struggling. People hurting, devils attacking on every side, and
It's amazing.
the Most High will put His hand on our relationships of His people, that they would look to Him for instruction and not each other necessarily. But again, Jeanette's sister, I believe she's still in the hospital, and I know that the Most High's hand of healing will be on our bodies, our backs, our necks, our shoulders, our legs, our knees, our minds, our heads. Just touch us, alleviate pain. And my man Dex, which I'm gonna get into, 3 basically relationships that he was hand of healing, to be honest. My man Dex over in, I think, Barbados right now with his new wife. And the Most High just get him His mercies will be upon them while they over there, and definitely bring them back safe.
He the one who just got jumped in. That's what's up.
We're gonna rap about that a little bit. People need prayer, man. Old folks, as always, this generation, the youth, they tripping. We all tripping. Strong delusion is vicious and it's ramping up. At the end, this Most High will just continue to remove the strong delusion, open up our minds to truth, to who and what we are, why we here.
Did y'all talk?
No.
This weekend?
No. That's how it starts. We in for one today.
Yeah.
He started off just like that.
I got a co-sign with his prayer requests regarding relationships. Pray for my wife, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Pray for Bladensburg SCA Church.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I can't add anything more to that. I think that's the cue that we on. We have our topic for today. So
mine lastly, it delves a little bit into healing. O has come on here several times, and so have other people, but to speak when there's a Goliath in the way. I think about his brother E. I think about his brothers who are incarcerated, and I think about other situations that we've had where we've claimed the miracle ahead of it actually occurring. And I'm in a similar situation right now. My mother, she's facing a Goliath, and we're going to get into that. But I pray for the Most High's healing hand upon her. She's right now bedridden with a broken ankle and a twisted wrist. So she's immobile, and I spent a large portion of the day with her yesterday, but we'll get into that. I'm praying for healing. And again, relationships, man. Relations, that's amazing. Yeah. All right, bow your heads. Most High, Yah, thank you for assembling us again here in this place. It's been a while, but we know that your spirit, your ruach, is still in the empowering business. So first and foremost, we ask that you cleanse us of all iniquity. May we decrease so that you can increase. Put us aside so that you can be at the forefront. Please speak through us and use us as you always have. Pray that you be with the newly united couple, Dex, and I'm not sure of his wife's name, but they're out of town, and I just pray that you be with them while they're over there. That's one of the institutions that came out the garden, is marriage. So we know that your blessing attends that very special institution, even though this world is trying its hardest to pervert it right now. Please be with them while they're over there, bring them back safely. Be with relationships. Mercy, Father, please be with relationships. There's several. The relationships that all three of us have up here, the ones that are spoken of, the ones that are not spoken of, and then extended from that. So many times we look towards spouses and the people that we can see in front of us. It's so much easier, but we should have more practice in relying upon you. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, and we all can always get into the gym and strengthen our faith a little bit more. So we ask, even in the midst of this conversation, that our strength that our faith is strengthened. Please be with everyone who's ailing, who needs healing, especially with my mother. You know the entire situation, the Goliath that she's facing, and you know what we have claimed, and we're going to continue to claim up until the day that she's supposed to visit the doctor. I'm praying for healing for her ankle. I'm also praying for my father for his health. And please be with us. And thank you for giving me that, Holy Spirit. The decisions we make with what we consume, because a lot of what we intake into our bodies is affecting us, and it does so more so than we ever know. So please be with us in the choices that we make as far as our nutrition is concerned. Again, Father, I'd like to pray over this studio and everyone who comes in and out, all the radio show personalities, the engineers, and even the ownership. Please bless them and keep them and forgive us of all our sins. In your son, Yeshua's name, I pray. Amen. Ah, man. I'll jump in with the fact that this weekend was, I can't say it was unorthodox, but several things occurred this weekend. My mother, she went to the doctor earlier this week, and she came back with the possibility of having this very serious condition. It's a possibility because it has not been diagnosed yet. And I could hear when I spoke to her over the phone after she left the doctor's office that, you know, she was a little bit unsure. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't speaking confidently. She was speaking a little bit tentatively based on the news that she had just received. So I told her, I was like, I'm coming over there yesterday. I was like, I have some things I want to say to you. And I brought this Bible over there with me. And my mindset was simply this. You know how the Most High gives you a picture of what's about to happen? He doesn't give you what you're going to say. I know what I was going to say, but just like me and you have discussed, he gives me an idea of what we're going to discuss. And it was about the name of the Most High. And I got the ultimate encouragement to go forward and do that based on Water for the Thirsty on Friday night. Okay. I had not read. I hadn't. And on Wednesday, it hit me. I was like, yeah, this is the weekend. Let me call Jared, because Jared stopped calling me or texting me or whatever. Not saying, you know, any fault of his, he probably whatever, but I hit him up, asked him if it was still going on. He said, yeah. And I covered, one of the readings was 1 Samuel. Now, one thing I know about 1 Samuel, you talk about my favorite character in the whole word besides the Savior himself, which is David. I see myself in that, brother. So I started reading about David and the story of David and Goliath. Again, a lot of things jumped out at me that I had not seen before. And it was talking about, you know, just running through the intimidating features of Goliath. He was 18 feet tall at least. He was 6 cubits. Each cubit is 3 feet, so he's at least 18 feet and then some. He had a huge javelin spear that he didn't wear straight up and down vertically on his back, but horizontally across his shoulders, so that he could be not only tall but wide. And then he had a shieldman to walk before him carrying his shield, because if he had carried that shield, it would have been too much. So you're talking about a brother who is walking out in front with another man holding his defense, and he has his offense on his back and on the side. Then not only that, he comes out there and talks trash against the whole Most High's army and all of his people, and everybody is scared and dismayed. But here comes this brother who brought out food for his brothers, and he hears this dude talking trash against the Most High, and his first mindset was, it's like, man, who's going to remove the disgrace from Israel and take this dude out for disrespecting the Most High's people, his army? And then from then there, we know how the story goes. His brother tried to shut him up. The king tried to shut him up, but he was persistent. Why? Because David remembered the encounters that the Most High delivered him from in the past. And he was just guarding sheep. A bear, a lion, took him out. He was like, just like them, this uncircumcised Philistine will not only fall, but I'm going to take his head off. And then one of the most powerful things that jumped out at me again, and I almost ran over it the first time, was the fact that after he told Goliath what he was going to do to him, he was standing on the front line. He ran at him. He ran head first into what he said he was going to do. It wasn't Goliath who charged him first. He said he ran at him, and then Goliath came. But we know what happened after that. Take a couple steps, put the stone in the sling, let that joint loose, sunk in the forehead. He drops. David takes his sword, cuts off his head, and then they go and slaughter the rest of the Philistines. So I took that same lesson over there to my mom. And the Most High gave me the words to draw the parallel between David's Goliath and her Goliath. And before I got a chance to start talking to her, she even said to me the words, she's like, sometimes my faith gets low, and it scares me. And when she said that, that was a moment of transparency, because I said, that's the same thing be happening with me. The same thing that happens with everybody. Because we go far in this thing, then we forget. We have a tendency to forget so easily what he has done and let go of our faith. And when that happens, it shows opportunity for us to strengthen it, to get back to him so that the faith can be strengthened again. And I started breaking down to her the reason why he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. Because I had studied that the week before. We was talking about that, I think, about the plagues. And his name was on the line. And then I started breaking down with her, and I showed her this front portion in this Bible that talks about how the name of the Most High God, Yahweh, was removed from the Bible, and it was in Old Testament over 7,000 times. And I had her start reading some scriptures and to plug it in where it said the Lord. And she started doing it. And as she was reading these scriptures, she was saying it. And I could see in her countenance, I could hear in her voice and in her behavior. She was no longer laying back and despondent. She's bedridden. She got her ankle up with heat packs on it or whatever. She started sitting there. She was like, it makes sense. She's like, yeah. And then some songs, it says the Lord twice. It's like redundant. And I was like, yeah. Replace that with Yahweh. Like, put that in there. When she did it, she was like, okay, so what are we going to do now? I said, every morning from today all the way up until the 29th, which is when she's going to see the neurologist, we're going to pray in the morning and the evening, and we're going to call upon the name, both of us. And she said, yes, let's do that. Let's do that. So we did it this morning. We're going to do it again this evening, possibly when I leave here. And I saw the transformation taking place in her, and I saw her hope building, because I told her, I was like, everybody knows who you are. They know whose daughter you are. Skip has a ministry. He's about to get installed on June 1st at the church. People are aware of Hood Proud and what I'm doing right now. But you have a ministry as well. And people are looking to you. People, if you don't even if you don't see them, people are looking to you. So this is a prime time to develop a strong testimony. I want you to remember all these steps. I want you to remember the first time you felt uncomfortableness, the first time you started not being able to focus and feeling dizzy, and any of these precursors to this plague that the devil has concocted, because all pestilence, all disease, all incapacitations all come from him. That doesn't come from the Most High. The devil is behind that. The Most High may allow it to happen to put us in a position, but he's a healer. He's a life giver. So I ain't going to put that on him. And I told her, I was like, right now, I believe that joint don't exist. We ain't claiming it. And the Most High did use O. I ain't even going to take that away. He used O to spark that back up in, because I was bewildered at first. I was like, man, what in the world is going on? It just seemed like dominoes started falling. And then I was like, man, she's getting attacked. And then it comes to the point where I leave there yesterday, and she has that hand of Fatima in her bathroom. And it's in the car. The first time I seen that thing, it had an eye on it. And it's in my car right now. I should have brought it in here, but I ain't.
Oh,
I ain't
you have it?
Yeah, it's in my car.
I was actually going to text you on the way over here when I was
No, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about.
I actually wanted to show it. Some of the things that she was pointing out. I don't know
about
if
it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a break or something.
Yeah, we'll get into that, because I'll tell you this much: on the way over here, my car almost got hit 3 times, and it was in the point where people were in the passing lane and trying to power all the way over so they can get off in the exit when my car was right there. 3 times, and if I wasn't paying attention, they'd have hit me. But when I saw when I saw that front tire go over that median line, I was like, what are they coming over? And then I slowed down ahead of time. I anticipated it. But if I had my head down, or I was not paying attention, or doing something else in the car, they'd have easily smacked me like 3 times. And I was like, young. I was like, it's because I got this crap in my car, man. So I'm about to. That joint gonna be thrown away. I mean, clearly, I'm not giving it back to my mother, and especially after I called you. I was like, man, if you have any more information on this thing, let me know, because when I looked it up, it had both good and bad lined up next to it, and I see a lot of that on the internet. It said not only Jewish people use it, but Muslim people use it, Buddhists, everybody uses it. So I saw the fact that so many poly religions use the thing. It can't be just one good thing. It has to be, but not only that, occult people use it too. So I'm like, how can it be used by both sides? You know what I'm saying? That's contamination. That's truth mixed with error. That's, I'm like, all right. So long story short, I got that thing out of my mother's house. We know what the path is moving forward as far as prayer is concerned. We're claiming it in faith. I don't believe nothing is wrong with her. I'm not claiming anything's wrong with her. And I expect a 100%, ain't nothing wrong with you, Miss Trammell, when she comes out of the doctor's office on the 29th. That's what I expect. Then we can dig into what happened Saturday afternoon when there was a program. I'm going to tell you how this thing developed. At first, there was supposed to be a program that a person at Bladensburg was putting together for the youth that we were going to come facilitate. What's up?
You just said a whole bunch of stuff just now.
I did.
And
jump in. Come on.
I think the biggest problem, aside from the fact that Israel don't know who they are, That there's a Goliath beating the crap out of us, and we have no clue that we're fighting a giant. Because it's a spiritual fight.
Yeah.
It ain't a dude just standing in front of us 18 feet tall. It's an empire. It's a religious
kingdom.
It's a religious authority in the lives of human beings that tells you that the Most High's name is God and that His Son's name is Jesus. And you have no choice but to take that, because they won't give you the information. They won't give it to you. You got to find it. You got to look for it. They won't give you the information to show that that's inaccurate. That's a giant of an issue. But just like the Most High used David, He has His truth that's going to chop the head of that lie off. And, you know, there was soldiers out there, even though they were scared. All of Israel wasn't out there on the battlefield to face this giant. The rest of the congregation was doing whatever they do. But them soldiers that was out there, they were still scared. They had no idea. They didn't believe that the Most High could do this, that He could actually remove the strong delusion. And call the giant out there. You reference Israel several times. And what I see Him doing with us, and that the example of David and Goliath, man, is a perfect example, because David was young. He was a boy, probably 16, 17 at the time, somewhere around there, when this incident took place. Turned into a warrior. Played some roles, he played some roles, you know what I'm saying? He did some adulterous things, and he covered it, and devious, he lied.
Lying things.
But he was a man after God's own heart. So, and we're just confronting this giant thing, whether it be a physical element or potential or an attack. I see that giant, myself personally, as the strong delusion, because it is massive.
It is massive.
You can't wrap your thinking around it. It sounds foreign to people. People will brush it off because it's easier to just disregard the fact that a group of people that ain't got nothing to do with the Most High changed His name, and changed His Son's name, and rewrote some of these scriptures. So I like the truth. Hit me real hard in my mouth, knock some of my teeth out, let me heal. When my swelling go down and the gums heal, we can have another conversation. You know what I'm saying? But if I got to get punched in the mouth in order to realize that I'm saying something wrong, knock all my teeth out. Let me know I'm jeffing with my words. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know this. Except Yahweh build a house, Psalms 127. Except Yahweh build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrow. For so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are an heritage. Children are an heritage of Yahweh, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. That's what I open up to. You know what I'm saying? And based on everything you just said, referencing that Goliath point, you know what I'm saying? And the Most High, in my mind, showing me, as you was talking, that the Goliath that Israel is facing, Israel being His chosen people, the remnant of the seed of His literal people, regardless of what religion you are, what church you go to, what denomination, what day you go to church on, who you pray to. If you're of that seed, if you're of the 12 tribes of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, this is talking to you. Blessed is everyone that feareth Yahweh, that walketh in His ways, for thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands. Happy shall, this verse, Psalm 123, 128.
Okay,
Blessed is the very next chapter. Blessed is everyone that feareth Yahweh, that walketh in His ways, for thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands. Happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by thy side, by the side of thine house. Thy children like olive plants round about thy table. Behold, that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth Yahweh. Yahweh shall bless thee out of Zion, and thou shalt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. Yea, thou shalt see thy children, thy children's children, and peace upon Israel. He's talking to his people. He's referring to the Most High is using David or whoever's writing this psalm to let him know how the Most High feels about his people. It says the Lord. I'm saying Yahweh, but wherever it said the Lord, it was taken out. The way it said his name was taken out, and the Lord was put there.
And that's what she said. She said she's gonna start doing that.
Look at how many times his name is written in the form of the Lord. But that's not what was originally put there. To change that, it affects how you take in what you read. Now, this is what I opened up to when I first got in here. Many a time have they afflicted me from my youth. I can relate. Chapter 129, verse 1 and 2. Many a time have they afflicted me from my youth, may Israel now say. Many a time have they afflicted me from my youth, may Israel now say. Many a time have they afflicted me from my youth, yet they have not prevailed against me. Let, verse 7 of chapter 130, let Israel hope in Yahweh. For with Yahweh there is mercy, with him is plenteous redemption, and he shall redeem Israel from all his iniquities. The strong delusion will not prevail over those chosen of the Most High. If you feel as though you were put here for this warfare, to have the balls to charge this strong delusion Goliath with some rocks, all you need is one, the rock cut out with our hands. As long as you know that you have in your possession what is used to hit the feet of the statue and knock all of these punk behind kingdoms that are in existence and conglomerate, knock them down, and you can race towards the Goliath. Allow the Most High to use you to sling truth into error and chop the head of that son of a biscuit off.
He ain't lying, dog. Because and it's crazy that you're saying it just like that, because that you're bringing it back to me what I was saying. Because like I said, what I was saying to her wasn't for me. It was from the Most High to her. And one of the things I said, I was like, us praying every day in the morning and evening is us essentially running at this Goliath. Because we haven't seen a neurologist yet. This is us picking up our stones, putting it into the pouch. We only need one, but we're going to be consistent. And I looked at it today. Today, all the way up until the 29th, is 10 days. 10 days of prayer in the morning and the evening. And I'm like, we ain't going to have... And then, thank you, Holy Spirit. This is what I did. At the end of it, we went to James. And we read that chapter, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So we ain't going to ask him with doubt in our heart saying, he might heal me, we going to go.
Did you hear what the first thing was I read? Except Yahweh build a house.
Yeah.
Chapter 127.
127, yeah.
Except Yahweh build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Very next thing he said, if I'm not the one that's responsible for the destruction or whatever it is that's going on with you, you're doing it for no reason. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late. What I envision, people jumping up first thing in the morning, hitting their knees, praying, and don't know who they're praying to. But he's merciful. He winks at our ignorance. He said it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, getting that last little bit of reading in, calling yourself studying, but you're not seeking. You're reading, but you're not seeking truth to the extent of your understanding. For so he giveth, to eat the bread of sorrows. You ain't gonna allow yourself. You want to afflict yourself. That's like them jokers walking around beating themselves, flogging themselves. If you're in pain, if you're in agony, if you're refusing the flesh, if you're punishing yourself in some way, shape, or form, then you're growing in your relationship.
That's
vain.
That's a vicious.
It's vain.
But peep this. See, you talked about what we speak.
I ain't saying don't do that, my bad. I ain't saying don't get up and pray and read late. But if you ain't...
Our understanding has to be different. So even in this text, it says, the watchman stays awake in vain. Now, I was led to a text in Isaiah, and it's actually all throughout Isaiah, and the Savior quotes it several times. Isaiah chapter 6. Because you see, after all of that, you were eventually led to this item that was in your house.
Right.
Where so how you say we can be, or you point out how we can be praying and not knowing who we're praying to, not understand, we haven't dug deep, but God is merciful. And we also can be praying to the right person, but we have things and we have spirits in our house that are causing us to still be blinded. So if I read here in Isaiah, so we know Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. That's actually the charge at the church I go to. We say it every day. It says, also, I heard the voice of Yahweh saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, here I am, send me. But check out the next couple verses.
Isaiah, you said 6 what?
Isaiah chapter 6, we're actually in verse 9 right now.
All right.
And he said, go and tell this people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive. Make the heart of this people dull and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and return and be healed.
Read that again.
So going back to verse 8, he says, go. So this is Yahweh telling this willing servant, the prophet Isaiah, go and tell this people, this stiff-necked people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive.
I'm sorry. Something was going on in my head. Can you read verse 9 again?
Yeah. Go and tell this people, keep on hearing, but do not understand. Keep on seeing, but do not perceive.
Now, what version are you reading?
This is the New King James Version.
Now,
what you got?
I have the King James. That keep that's in there makes it something completely different.
Okay, what you got?
And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed. Hear ye indeed. Like, I know you hear, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not. Like, you hear, but you don't know you don't know. Not keep on hearing so you won't understand. Keep on perceiving so you won't.
Right.
Keep those that thing a whole nother. It throws a curveball in there.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? Because when you said it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I got something different when I heard that keep.
And I guess because I know the cross references, I understood it to be exactly what you said. Because when you look in several other places in here, seeing that they see not, and hearing like that, like people want to be in darkness. You know, people want to be in ignorance.
See, that sounds like a charge to keep being in darkness and being ignorant.
Right.
Keep
but
doing
it's
it.
not. It's not. It should not be. But I can see what you're saying. Where it's like the idea is that these people believe that they're seeing, believe that their heart's in the right place.
Right.
And Isaiah is being sent to them to saying, what you think you're seeing, you're not seeing. What you think you're hearing, you're not hearing. You cannot trust your eyes or your heart or your mouth.
That's what I heard when I read that. What you just
Okay.
said. I didn't hear that when you read that.
Sure.
But
So-
I mean, at least you broke it down.
Right.
So,
That's what we're here to do.
And there's so many cross references to that, but it's another one in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. And people will say, why would it be that, and that also goes with 2 Thessalonians 2, with a strong delusion, why would it be that the Most High would allow people to be in darkness and be deluded? 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 says, but even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age, who was the God of this age? Lucifer has blinded, who do not believe, lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of the Most High, should shine on them. So it seems in this text that those who have been deluded, the enemy has been given power to keep them there. Because if they weren't deluded, they would be healed. They would accept the gospel. They would be saved. And so you wonder why. There must be a reason why this delusion is still in place. Because the atheists would say, well, if that's the case, why doesn't the Most High remove this delusion altogether?
2 Thessalonians.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2.
Let's go. That's why the strong delusion is still in place.
It's by choice.
It's because they have not developed a love for truth.
It's a choice.
That's
To love
Because they do
a
not
lie.
have a love for the truth, I will send them a strong
will
delusion
send
so
them-
that they will believe the lie.
Right.
There is a lie that is a Goliath that is plaguing the children of Israel, the Most High's people.
2 Thessalonians.
I wonder what
Thessalonians
I mean.
chapter 2,
Verse.
is it verse 9 is when it starts?
It's like 3, I think. 2 Thessalonians 2.
Yeah, verse 9.
Verse 9.
I mean, you can read the whole from the beginning, but this is where it really gets into it because it's speaking about the coming of the lawless one.
I mean, it starts with it says, verse 3, let no man deceive you By any means, that's where the delusion gonna start, by being deceived. For they that shall not come, for they that shall come, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion. Send them strong delusion. Not strong delusions or the strong delusion.
Man.
And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion is the nigga name. You know what? Since you don't want to listen to me, hey, strong delusion, go get him. I'm gonna send strong delusion to dog you. Strong delusion.
What verse did you start from? You
started from
before.
3.
You started from 3.
Started from 3.
It can. I understand what y'all. I was just listening to it in there because I was like, man, this
That's
thing.
in Jerusalem.
Yeah,
Right?
it's Jerusalem. It says it cannot happen. I'm starting
From
at
where?
3.
3.
Never let anyone deceive you in this way. It cannot happen until the great revolt has taken place and the rebel, the lost one, has appeared. This is the enemy, the one who claims to be so much greater than all that men call God, so much greater than anything that is worshipped, that he enthrones himself in God's sanctuary and claims that he is God. Surely you remember me telling you about this when I was with you, and you know too what is still holding him back from appearing before his appointed time. Rebellion is at its work.
Wait. Holding him back?
Yeah. What are you telling me, Hope?
Verse 6. You
Verse
said
6. And you, hold on. And you
And now ye know
too what is still holding him back from appearing before his appointed time. Rebellion is at its work already, but in secret. And the one who is holding it back has first to be removed. Before the rebel appears openly, Yahweh will kill him with the breath of his mouth and will annihilate him with the glorious appearance that is coming. But when the rebel comes, Satan will set to work. There will be all kinds of miracles and a deceptive show of signs and portents, and everything evil that can deceive those who are bound for destruction, because they would not grasp the love of the truth which could have saved them. The reason why God is sending a power to delude them and make them believe what is untrue is to condemn all who refuse to believe in the truth and chose wickedness instead.
So question, which comes first, truth or delusion?
Truth has to come first.
Has to come first.
Yeah.
So every person that claims, oh, I didn't know any better, they had to have been exposed to the truth,
yeah.
to reject the truth, to be under the
To
power
be-
of strong delusion.
Right. Truth has to come first. Yeah.
But there are people that are...
at this point in this world's existence, I don't know that that's the case. There was a time when the truth was in its pure state and people had an opportunity to receive truth. Now all we get is delusion.
So if that's the case, then there's hope.
Unless you seek. Oh, there's definitely hope.
Okay,
There's
because
always
see,
hope.
these people who have accepted the strong delusion have been presented with the truth, and by their own conscious choice says, nah, I'm not rolling with that. And so then the Most High says, okay, here's delusion. And it sounds like you're pretty much stuck in that state. As opposed to someone who's been deceived until that veil is removed from their eyes, like Elisha praying for his servant, please remove.
I sound good. I'm like, it's because they don't have a love for the truth.
But they have to know the truth.
No. If you love the truth, you would seek it wherever it is. Wherever it is, if you love truth. If you cool with information that may be true, and in a sense, and you don't want the stuff that's going to cut you deep and separate the bone and marrow and all that other stuff, that's going to put you against your mother, put you against your kids, make your kids not want to be, because you're following truth and not tradition. If you're willing to rock, if you're not willing to do that, strong delusion is what you will receive.
So you can then have a love for truth and still be deceived. but then at some point you're getting a little.
You have a
more-
love for what you're told the truth is. Because if you're not going beyond what you've been told, you're not really seeking the truth. Because you're not being told the truth. No much telling the truth. Everybody's lying. You got to dig beyond this dictionary, Jerusalem, encyclopedias, this internet that all we want to use is for porn, and research some stuff and read what other jokers that ain't Christians or that ain't in church, but they studied history, they know these writings, and they telling us it's clear, it's evident that all throughout Scripture, the children of Israel only wanted to do idols. They wanted to worship idols. They wanted to do what the surrounding nations was doing. They didn't want to rock with the Most High because he had rules and regulations. Do as thou wilt. That's the devil's only rule. Do what you want to do.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want to do. That's the only law I got, bro. Rock with me.
I got a question. It's okay, so because I both of y'all got arguments and I'm agreeing with both points, but it's like I take my personal situation. I was rocking with Jesus and God and the Lord because that's all I knew until it came to that seminar that Wayne and them had. That was the first time I heard anything where I was like, because the first thing that hit me was how serious they were. Because I'm like, okay, the Graham is allowing this to happen. So there must be some type of, this is my initial thinking.
Right.
I'm like, so there must be some type of validity if he's allowing people to come hear this. Then they come with that hard truth that I was like, man, okay. But I've always heard that Jesus wasn't white. You know, that he got whitewashed.
Right.
I had heard that before, and I didn't want to believe that anyway. I mean, it makes me feel like initially I was like, I don't care what color he is, but when I found out he had melanin like me, I was like, well, all right, yes, what's up, you know? And then it goes into the rest of the whitewashing. But this is where my joint began. When I heard that, I was like, okay, if this is real and they would go as far as to deceive me on what Jesus looked like, what other deceptions are in place? So then my mind, my wheels start turning in the brain that he gave me. I didn't ask him for this, but questions were just up here that didn't sit right and something seemed wrong. And when something seemed wrong, I was like, okay, I may be afraid of what I might find, but I just want to know. I want to know. And from that point, when I started finding out stuff and I started hearing stuff, slowly I was like, and I prayed the prayer. Initially, I was like, Young, if this is wrong, if I'm going down a rabbit hole that leads me deep into hell, then please pull me out because I don't know what I'm doing. And as he started bringing things to me, I wasn't looking, every day, it would be him calling me or somebody else calling me, and it was like, hey, check this out. Hey, check that out. And the Lord was like, check it out. The Lord was like, check it out. And then I started receiving, and he kept convicting, and I was like, man, this is what it is. And that's how I am where I am today. But I would rather have that than to be fooled by the biggest entity in the world that the Adventist church since I've been born has been preaching is the beast in the last days. I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with the papacy, Slim. I don't want nothing to do. If they got any parts of their fingernails or their grains, whatever, into anything that I'm in, I ain't having no parts of it. Because what I read and I was convicted of way back before I heard this is I was reading the Ellen G. White book, and this is way back in the day. It was an Ellen G. White book. She said that the devil's greatest masterpiece was the papacy. His greatest masterpiece on the entire planet was his ability to form and create the entity that is the richest, most powerful entity on the planet called the papacy. When I read that, I was like, man, that's his masterpiece?
Did she say that the SCA church copied it?
She said all churches copied it.
Okay.
The
But
structure
particularly, there's only two world churches. There's only two. One's a Catholic church. One's the SCA church.
It's funny that you say that.
I wouldn't. I mean, so what would the Eastern Orthodox Church
There are
fall under?
only two.
Catholicism?
Eastern Orthodox?
Yeah.
It's a branch.
And Adventism is a branch as well.
Was it not?
All the rituals and traditions of Adventism find its root in Catholicism. Maybe except what Ellen G. White talked about, that 28 fundamental beliefs.
That's what we created, right?
That was man-made. That didn't.
Yeah,
well, a lot of stuff is man-made, you know. But think about it in the simplest form, man. And something that happened at this reception came to my mind when you was talking. I'm terrible with names. You know what I'm saying? I knew your name was Stan when I came in here, but I wasn't sure, so I was like, "What's up, bro?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, Stan." So I was like, I was right. I should have said his name. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't, we had an interaction last time we talked, and we had met before that, so I knew it, but we haven't engaged each other since then, so I wasn't confident in what I was about to say. You can say you know somebody all you want, with, you've never really interacted with them, you may not know them like you think you know them. And if we supposed to be cool, we homies, right? I show people names all the time. Yo, your name's Darian, I call you D. Well, Dame is D. I'll probably call you Darian. They call you Clax, you know what I'm saying? Last name Claxton. This is B. You know, so everybody, your name start with a B, you're B. Right, you know what I'm saying? Start with an O, it's O. Yeah. Or, you know, I ain't gonna call you S if your name is Steven. You know what I'm saying? But it might be Steve. Or something, you know what I'm saying? Something. But we shorten people's names. But I'm not gonna sit here and let you call me Ralph. My name's Orlando. And every time you, hey, what's up, Ralph? And I just say, man, what's up, Darren? Man, that's not what you talking about. My man, brother was on the show, man. Kept calling me Low. Kept calling me Low. McNeil. He kept calling me Low.
In the middle of this, so he kept calling me Low. I was laughing because O was just sitting there like, you ain't gonna call me Low one more time. He was just calling him Low.
And you know, that's not even here nor there. But my man's daughter came to me. He brought her up to me. I'm standing outside, and it kind of messed me up because I still don't remember her name. And she's probably like 14, 15 right now. You know what I'm saying? He kind of, man, older man. He said her name. He said, she don't think you know her. Because all you ever say is, hey, how you doing? And I don't ever really engage her by name. Right. I don't know what to say. I know that's my man's daughter. But I don't know half the kids' names. I told her, I said, man, we got to get together more often and do stuff as a unit. Right. With all our kids, the older ones, the little ones, whatever, since we kick it. We homies. Our kids should be homies. Can you imagine? Well, how long do you think the father is going to really put up with a bunch of arrogant, disrespectful, unruly, disobedient humans going around blasphemously professing to know him, calling him by some pagan name?
What else if they know?
It don't make a difference if you know. You calling him by a pagan name.
But remember who we're dealing with.
Who?
For my sake, my standpoint, you call me by the wrong name and you know my name, or even if you don't know my name, I'm going to correct you, and you keep calling me that name, I'm going to be offended.
Check it out. The truth is there, right? The delusion is going to be sent to those that do not have a love for the truth. If you love me, keep my commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. I am Yahweh, thy Elohim, have no other gods before me. It's complicated, but if you can sit and do long division, but you can't look through history and see when the mother suckers jack money. And all you got to do is go from that point and correct everything to this point. All that, well, you know, it depends. It does depend. But you have the internet at your access. You have no excuse. And I'm not making any excuse for any human beings any further in my life. I'm about to be 40, Slim. It's no longer to play. I didn't think I was going to live this long. And I don't know how much longer I got. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not take the gloves off. Step into the ring, you're going to get knocked out, and I'm going to help you up. I'm going to help you up, and we're going to learn. You know what I'm saying? But I can't defend BS no more. I refuse to.
So go back, because you were making a point before I go back to what I was talking about.
Not that you were saying BS.
SCA Church, yeah.
You know.
Yesterday, it kind of I was going to get into it later because we didn't talk about what happened yesterday at Bladensburg. But one of the issues we were talking about when we were talking about, I was like, tears of sin. Remember we were talking about that? I was like, where did we hear about tears of sin? And I was trying to, the questioning was to gauge people's minds and engage them and have them really think about the first time they heard about tears of sin. And the last answer that we got was from the church.
Tears
Our
of
parent
sin?
Tears. So like homosexuality is worse than a little loud backbiting.
Tears of sin.
Tears.
There are levels to sin.
Levels.
I thought you meant like tears of the sun. Like I thought you tears. I'm like, what is that?
No, not tears.
Tears.
Levels. I should have said just levels. Yeah. So I said that because I was trying, and we didn't get to that point. And when the conversation didn't go there, I was like, all right, Most High, because somebody else started talking, and we went into a direction that a lot of people had input on. But I was like, the Catholic Church makes you say certain number of amounts of Hail Marys per cent. You get put into purgatory if you don't get to do that. Started with them, right. Slim, and realistically, it started before them with the order of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who had all those other rules that they added on to the Levitical law and stuff like that, and they had specific penalties, and that's where the tier system came. But we did go into Leviticus.
We did. But the thing is, what we did not really resolve was the fact that there seems to be a tier system in the Torah. It seems to be that it always makes my wife upset when we read Leviticus, and it's like, okay, so if a woman gets raped but she does not cry out, then she gets stoned too because she should have yelled. You see what I'm saying?
If you want to make that real? If you're getting raped and you don't want to be, why you quiet? Unless you're enjoying yourself. Get this nigga off me.
But if you knocked her out first,
You
like there's no provision whatsoever. So here,
hold up. Yeah, see, that's not there.
Okay,
But
it's
you talking rape?
He's developing it.
Rape.
Right.
Rape is intercourse. If there's an unwanted penis in you, not in you, in a female, or if you're being forced to stick your penis in something, and you like, I ain't gonna do like you ain't like I don't want to do this. You get the feeling, and if Shawty just laying there like stop, no, please don't.
But the problem is a cut and dry rule that says, okay, there's no provision whatsoever for if she yelled and nobody heard her. You know what I'm saying? If you knocked her out, was she conscious? None of that's there. It's like if I find you and no one ever heard, I go around to the towns over here. Did you hear someone screaming? Nope. Did you hear someone screaming? Nope. Okay, bam, string her up. Just like that.
So hold up. So how's it concluded that you were raped?
How was it concluded?
Yeah.
Because they were both found together having sex. Somebody found them
so
having sex.
So it's not fornication.
So it's either way. So if they have found together, it's consensual. You still, if it's consensual, you both get killed.
Right.
But the only way that she gets off is if someone claims they heard her scream out.
And that's where?
That's in Leviticus. I believe it's Leviticus chapter 18.
Hey, read that. Read that. I need to hear that.
And I didn't want to get on that tangent because the thing
I
is,
hear what you're saying about that.
Here's the problem though, because there was a sacrificial system put in place because there was no Messiah, there was no Savior, there was no without the shedding of blood, there's no remissions of sin. So there's certain things you could do, and you had the two sacrifices. You had the altar, you had the fire that was burning 24/7, and you had the sin offering. And you would come with your sin offering when you sinned. But there's certain sins that you did, there was no offering. Bam! You get caught working on the Sabbath, it's curtains. You dishonor your mother and father, it's curtains. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm like, the tier system we see here, where certain sins, murder, is a big deal. Now, if you eat something that's unclean, you unclean until evening.
Did you always sacrifice the same amount of animals for each sin? You know, you can't do a dove or a quail, whatever the case. Was it all the same? Because, I mean, if you had to do 2 of these and 1 of those for this, or one of those and 3 of them for that.
There wasn't a designation for that. What they did was they set aside these certain sins. If you do them, there is death automatically. Everything else goes under the guilt offering.
I think, and I remember where the conversation went. We took it to the 10 Commandments. I was like, everything spawned from that. Them 10, what is the first 4 for how to love God, and the last 6 are how to love man. When you depart from any one of those, it was because of the heart. It's just like I look at it as I've even heard and I've looked at it as it's the same as when a man got multiple wives. When the institution of marriage came out of Eden, it was one man and one woman. But brothers was like, she fine, and she fine. Y'all all mine.
Right.
And it happened like frequently. And the Most High was like, all right, well, you gonna see what happens because of all this. The added law, those extra laws is okay. We have specific situations. They can all point. If you committing fornication and stuff like that, you ain't being faithful to your wife. You ain't showing love to your fellow man. If you're going into idolatry, you're taking the name. You maybe taking the name of vain. You're disobeying at least the first 2 commandments. So you're disobeying God. And the way that's why I took it to, and that's why the conversation went. The wages of sin is death. And what point did we bring out from that? When you get a wage, how do you get a wage? You don't get a wage by doing something one time. You have to work at it. You got to work at it. So you constantly working at this thing. These little penalties along the way are to discourage you from working at this thing.
Right.
So, but ultimately, you keep working at this, it's curtains.
But the problem is, the question was, where did this ideology come from?
Where did it come from? Right.
And we see in here that there's certain things that there's no remedy whatsoever. If I find you doing that, now, even if you look at the last 6, so dishonoring your mother and father, that's instant death. But stealing, you have to restore. You restore fourfold, or if you cannot, then you sell yourself or your family into slavery. Not death. So there are different levels of sin. So stealing is down here, but rape or sexual adultery or murder is up here.
So I guess the question could be asked: why was it necessary to have that to begin with human beings? If it was carried all the way down from Leviticus to today, and we see the types of problems, because the whole conversation started with that topic that said, "What do we do about homosexuals leading out in church?" And then everybody, This was yesterday at the topics. They said, "What?" No, but
That's why I wasn't there. That's exactly why I wasn't there.
I know that.
right.
But this is the thing. This is what happened. One brother who came out, he was leading out, and an elder sat him down, and nobody showed him any love. He got ostracized. He eventually left the church. Don't want to come back. He don't want to have nothing to do with the church. We
Might have
kind
done
of
him a favor.
But it's kind of the same case, man. You got what? Not excommunicated. Disfellowship. I always say excommunicated.
For open sin.
Yeah.
Yeah, for open sin. Like somebody's perfect here.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be allowed.
Everybody
to
should be
begin with.
disfellowship.
Yeah, everybody.
That's
precisely.
the point.
Disfellowship yourself.
That's the point.
That's the point we made yesterday. It's like everybody, just because the pastor ain't flaming, don't mean that he ain't got something that you can't see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We done heard several pastors who later on found out they got 2, 3, 4, 5 families. We got pastors with the mega churches, got jets, mansions, Bentleys, and stuff like that. And so it's like just because you can't see it, and then once we can see it, we like to throw all of our guilt and shame of what we got on them because their joint is out in the open. And that tears us apart. And then the love of Yah, which is what we all supposed to exhibit because we all covered under the blood. We all got our own mess. We've all been purchased and saved from. As of now, the battle's already won. Because of that, it's our job to show them the love. And show them and point them towards the Most High, because that's what you essentially do when you show them the love.
I don't know that the Most High would approve of having a homosexual leading out in praise and worship. I don't know. I'm not him. He said he loves the sinner, he hates the sin.
Right.
If you're openly gay,
Well, I mean,
not as if, I used to be,
Right.
but I was delivered from that demon. Right. That ain't your mindset, and you think because you want to come to church, you should be able to be. Nah, sit your down.
Yeah.
So what makes that different?
Because the Most High flat out said himself, man, that's an abomination.
And that
man.
came up.
That came
That's
up.
an
That came up.
abomination,
You know what
man.
else is abomination?
Strong drink,
Lying
wines, and
lips.
mockery.
Yep.
All that.
Lying lips.
Hey.
Lying lips are abomination. Eating
Feet that are
pork.
swift to share evil.
Yes.
The
Those
things
sins
came
came
out.
out.
That's exactly what we was
Exactly,
talking
same thing
about. The
So there's a
sins
lot
that
of
he ate.
abominations, but we put
There's-
certain abominations above
We
others.
do.
Yes.
But that's the problem. We too busy worried about what we talking about as
Right.
opposed to what the Most High
But
said.
you just said if someone is opening sin in this manner of being homosexual, sit your butt down.
If you are openly engaged in homosexuality, I ain't say sin, I said homosexuality, and you think it's okay to be in front of the church when, if you're a bold-faced liar, you don't need to be up there doing praise and worship either, or giving the announcement. You might be lying. How do I know you're telling the truth? Or if you're a known sex offender, or you just a vicious pervert, and all you want to do is hang around the female bathroom or something like that. Nah, you ain't gonna say the intercessory prayer. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what we do? We look at someone, we as straight people, we look at someone that is effeminate as being openly in sin. Like, we have no idea what they're doing. But if I see you doing that, I'm just thinking in my mind, he's gay.
Open sin don't even come to my mind. If you look like a junk, you a junk. That's my thinking.
So regardless of
Sinning?
So-
we all sin.
So he
All
might
have sinned.
not have slept with someone for years, but he still got the tendency.
That demon
He's got
still
their
with him.
accent.
I know individuals that were in homosexuality and they're not
They
anymore.
talk
They come out of it.
I don't know. I've never seen
Man, I don't
that.
want to throw the brother out there.
Yeah, don't.
No, I mean, but his testimony is known.
Okay,
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay.
Paul Heflin,
Okay.
Yeah.
cold man,
Okay.
used to be a joke. He sings real passionately to his Savior. But if you listen to him talk, you might be like, oh, that nigga's sweet. He knows something wrong with Cub.
But still, after being delivered,
Yeah.
talks the same way.
Yeah.
That's my point. We see someone, hear them talk like that, like, oh, he out there.
It's like you smoke a cigarette, your lips turn purple. You stop smoking Jackson, your lips gonna go back to being pink. Sometimes the effect of the sin
Right?
lingers.
It is. But we still judge them based on their sin.
I
or their
don't know.
perceived
Who's
sin.
judging them? Who are you talking about?
Because you look this person up, you see this person leading out and they flaming, you don't know what they've been through. They might be done with that, but they still got the effects of sin.
That's a problem. That's a big problem in the church. I feel personally that if you come to church with your husband and you a dude, or if you come to church with your wife and you a female and you think it's okay, with the Most High, my job is to tell you it's not okay with the Most High. Get your ish together. You want to talk about my alcoholism? Cool, we can rap about that. I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see me up there because I know I got issues. Now, if I'm put up there, if I guess the question should be, does this person feel as though they deserve the opportunity to be up there, or were they asked and somebody was upset about the fact that they were up there? If you don't know this,
here's where the problem comes into play, because this goes back to a conversation we also had about this notion that I've got to be right before I even come to church. So I got to fix it. So you asked me to...
That came up too.
I want to lead out, but I got to take care of this alcoholism first.
To help deliver other
I got to
people
take care of this
still
pornography before I can do that.
everybody in the congregation was not leaders. All sheep aren't shepherds.
Okay.
Come to church. Bring your trash. The church is a hospital for sinners. You're not going to go into the hospital and want to take the white coat and put it on and get the clipboard and the stethoscope and say, let me diagnose this other sinner. Nah.
Take it next level. So you mean to say I can come to church, but I got to get next level, to be a leader, I got to get rid of these sins first. There's still a problem. It's still the same problem.
I don't know that you have to get rid of anything. But what I'm talking about, and I ain't talking, like I said, man, look, man, you talking about homosexuality. It ain't lying. It ain't
But you're
drinking.
doing the same thing. You're like, you homosexual.
Have you ever been with a man?
Yeah. No.
Have a man ever been with you?
No.
So, have you ever smoked a cigarette?
Yeah.
Have you ever drank?
Yeah.
Do you think the two are the same?
No. But I can't, I'm just saying from a judgment standpoint.
It ain't a judgment.
Like,
it just ain't the same.
Like, if I see someone, I'm like, yo, Lord's doing something with that brother or that sister. You see what I'm saying?
Why?
I can't be like that person's not qualified to lead because of
Man,
this.
listen, the devil come to church too.
does?
And I ain't
He
saying
does.
every homosexual is a devil, but they got a demon in him.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that Jonah's there to see if one of these little dudes is sweet. Catch him in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, but he deserves to be here. Nigga, you will beat the brakes off you, Slim, and invite you back to church. Let's have a Bible study before you come back in here. That's why the whole church setup, to me now, it's not proper. It's not proper.
I'll tell you this much, man. Every time, I know we got to go to break. Every
don't
time
have to.
you commit sin, you are under the possession. You are demon possessed. And there are people that are listening to voices in their head, and I can speak to this testimony. It happened to me yesterday. Someone who is a Christian, in that moment, they let their emotions get the best of them, and the demon possessed them. I'm not speaking to them anymore. I'm speaking to a demon. You see what I'm saying? It can happen to anybody. It's not just the people who are in seances and doing witchcraft or whatever. It can happen to any single one of them. Anytime we get that vice that we have, that we have had. Like, I can sit here today and say, I never want to do that again. I'm praising the Lord. But then when that temptation comes, it just comes over. I can't get it out of my head. It's like there, and then I do it. I'm being demonically possessed at that moment. That's why
We talked
Paul
about
said,
that with Saul.
Yeah.
Saul swore. He said, "As Yahweh lives, I shall not kill
I won't
that
kill
brother."
you. And then what was he doing?
Very next joint, the evil spirit
Go
got
find
on him.
David.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Where my spirit at?
Yeah.
I'm about to put this brother on the wall." It's funny how the Most High work. I'm sitting up here sweating, but that means the conversation's good when I get to sweat. Y'all know that. So I ain't going. I already know when they started talking about that yesterday. I was like, yeah, man, this.
I don't think every time you sin, you're demonically possessed.
Well, think about it. Why wouldn't you be?
To possess something, you want to look at the definition of possess?
Sure, yeah.
To possess something,
Take full control. I'm thinking.
I mean, you know, if you ain't the presence, I don't believe the presence of a demon merits possession by the demon. That's a conversation. We all got our ish with us, but I wouldn't say we're all demon
And a lot of
possessed.
times when we see actual demon possession, people frothing at the mouth is because they have a rack of demons in them.
I mean,
They got a whole bunch of them. They
one
have
can do the
legion.
damage though.
Is that? Oh, one can do some
One
damage. But
can
I'm
do
saying
it.
one can come and go. You know what I'm saying? Like in that moment, I'm possessed, and then I do my thing, and then he moves on. Versus the ones that are possessed.
We talk about the manifestations that happened.
That happened yesterday.
While we was ministering, man.
Spell possess.
P-O-S-S.
P-O-S-S-E-S-S-E-D.
Possess. Possess a body of men summoned by. Oh, that's a posse. Possess.
I was like, what is that?
My eyes ain't acting right, man. To be the owner of, to own, to have as, to be the owner of or to own, to have as a quality, to possess something, to have as a quality, to hold and control, keep, as to possess one's soul and patience, to occupy, seize, as to possess a city during war, to obtain power over mentally or morally, said of evil spirits, passions, beliefs, etc. A person can be possessed by their beliefs. That's interesting. As a man possessed of a devil, as a man possessed of a devil, possessed of a desire for gain to cause to become owner,
desire.
usually reflective as to possess oneself or of property, to possess oneself of property, to inform in a frenzy, mad, crazed, possession, ownership, occupancy, the thing owned, self-control, property, or something like that. Yeah. I mean, if every time, you know, because sin is more involved than just what you do. You know, we can sin in thought. You know, the Savior didn't even sin in thought. We can sin in thought, but to never act on that thought, you would still feel as though the person is possessed by a demon because they think. Then we're all possessed by demons.
But here's the thing.
Always. Because we always think wild stuff, man. It just pops in and out.
That
if you don't dwell on it.
What's the expression? You can't stop birds from landing on your head, but you can't stop them from building nests. Like, that bird's going to come. That temptation's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
You got to swat that out of there. Mm-hmm. As long as you're thinking about it, it's like, why can I stop thinking? Maybe it's someone you're not supposed to be messing with. Why can I stop thinking about it? Maybe it's that joint. I want to stop. Why can I stop thinking about it? Why can I stop thinking about that website I want to go to? And you know what you do? You either keep on thinking about it, desiring it, or you say, you know what? Heavenly Father, get this away from me. Because otherwise, the end of that road is the act of sin.
Yeah.
So even though in the midst of you asking the Most High to get you away from it, so who's possessing you after that? After Most High removes that temptation, I mean, are you still possessed by that demon?
Well, it's a choice you make.
So it's not a constant possession, even though
unless you have these like these people we see in the Word, where they had they was nothing they can do. They're controlling them. They need to try to bind them with chains. They're breaking the chains. Like, that's a whole nother level where you have allegiance. You have tons of demons that are inside this person that are actually controlling them. But when you get a thought in your head, all of us can relate to, like, man, I don't know where this thought came from, but I want to do it so bad. I'm here. I want to do it. And then I'm like, why did I do that?
I don't think people are conscious enough for that statement that every time you sin, you're possessed. I don't think individuals are conscious enough of their own actions for that statement to really be valid. Because the devil has control. He has access to our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions. He can't make us do anything. He cannot do anything with our will. The Most High is not going to make us do anything. He's going to give us an opportunity to choose. But I agree. I agree, but I don't think it's... I agree that when people sin, they're under the possession of an evil spirit.
It's willful, though.
I think
I don't know that it's always
that's
willful.
what I think about. I'm thinking it's more about instead of having a decision made in congruence with the Most High, you made the decision to be congruent with what the devil would have you to do.
As much as eating that fruit was going to end up having Adam and Eve die, I don't know that Adam really made a conscious decision to die when he ate the fruit. He was doing what his wife wanted him to do. But the result was, you disobeyed the Most High, you got to go. I don't think everybody, hey, you know what, I'm about to smoke this weed so I can swerve and cause an accident. But the devil like, man, nigga, hit the J. Just tap the J a couple times. As soon as you, and you look up, boom, you're in an accident.
You're in your right mind.
I mean, but I don't know that you chose to make that accident happen.
No, you didn't choose the consequences.
You put yourself in the position.
That's it.
Okay, I shouldn't have used accident, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not necessarily a sin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To commit a sin. I'm thinking.
It's something to tussle with.
Brother, you're gonna have people walking around. You know, some people like the thought of having demons kicking them. Lady Gaga said she's friends with the voices
in her head.
Inside her head. She get along with the monsters that's under her bed.
You ever see these shows with these preachers that they healing people?
Oh, that gonna be hysterical.
You know what? In many cases, what's going on is a demon has possessed someone and is causing a manifestation of pain. And that person that's supposed to be healing in the name of Jesus or whatever the name they use is pulling the demon out of them. So now they're healed, but now they got a demon. It's a weapon that they can use because they know how to use them. So now those demons are in their arsenal. So yeah, some people want to have demons because they know there's power. If I go up against somebody who has more demons than me, I need to go get some more. So when we engage in battle, like all these video games, role-playing games, that stuff is real stuff. That's why I can't rock with any of that. So if you know how to use that, oh yeah, it's powerful, but there's a price to be paid.
I agree with the price to be paid. I mean, if all this is fake and it's all BS anyway. And
what is fake?
I mean, the whole facade, everything they doing, the giant, the strong delusion. It's a delusion. You know what I'm saying? It's not in the realm of reality as far as where the Most High dwells. It's in this realm of BS. So if all I got in the extent of my power is to trick you, and you ain't really trying to rock with the Most High anyway, so I afflict you with something. And so I can deceive them, I'm going to take what I put on you off. As the God of this world, the devil Jah had authority, I'll say, because it's not a healing. I'm just removing. I'm just removing the ailment that I put on you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For the purpose of deceiving.
Right.
So it's not that I'm helping you.
Signs,
I didn't
miracles,
heal
and
you.
wonders.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know that. And if you, I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm like, you said the individual now he got more demons. The one that like did the healing or whatever, they got more demons in there. I've never heard that.
It's a whole another world, man. I wish I didn't know about this stuff. Be honest, man.
Nah, you the sniper.
I wish I didn't know about it, but seeing that amulet and reading about it and my mother telling me about it, I guess I don't know when we're gonna get into that.
He rolled out now.
The numerology. Y'all know what numerology is? Study of numbers.
Yeah, some
Study of
numbers, right?
And how certain numbers so we know. And my mom, I'm asking my mom. It's like, well, we know about 666. It's like, yeah, there's certain things you know about, but they've taken to a whole nother level. So 11, very popular. 15, number of the devil. You ever do tarot cards? They flip 15 cards. The 15th card is always a devil.
13.
Devil card. That amulet you had has 15 screws in it. Each screw is a Phillips screw. It's got a cross in it. It's got 11 flames, but they look like eyes. 11 is also very powerful in occultic. So
really?
Oh yeah, big
Whoa.
time.
Nah.
And it's got that evil eye as well, which you saw. And so the delusion is the fact that something would have an evil eye is supposed to protect you from evil. You see what I'm saying? Why would I have this in my house? And I'm reading, and I looked at it, I was like, why? It doesn't say anything about may God bless this house or something like that.
It said there should be a blessing on this house. That's just all it said.
And the reason is so that it'll be congruent with any belief.
Yes,
plug
man.
and play.
That's the first thing when I read it. I was like, why is it that Muslims, Buddhists, and Christians all use this? The fact that multiple people use this one thing, and then to ward off evil energy. Anytime I hear about warding off evil spirits, I'm like, I ain't never seen nothing in here like that. That the Most High told him to do, to do something like that. And I was like...
The mess came from the surrounding nations that he told him not to do.
He told him not to do.
Because he knew all this was going on.
Because the power now is in the amulet. I'm not trusting God anymore. I'm trusting the amulet. So I pray every day, but I got the amulet to keep me safe.
It's about worship. It's about worship. The devil wants the worship due to the Most High. He said, I'm going to send my throne above the heights of heaven. I'm going to be like the Most High. He got power, but he ain't got Most High power. Right. He's got a little, he can do stuff here in this realm. He ain't even got access to that other realm like that no more. I ain't saying like he's in it, but he can't really possess it. I don't think he can go to heaven. I don't think he can present himself before the Father no more. He was given the outline of what this is going to end up as. He's got his notes. But it's at the point now where we're at the end of it. So your time is about up. And whatever the last section that's going to take place, I don't think he has access to that. He's going to be terrified when the Most High removes that strong delusion and set that weapon loose. He is going to be trembling because he's going to have no authority over us. He's terrified of us if we connect with the Most High. He's terrified. Yeah. The children of Israel were the most powerful people that ever possessed this land. But they were disobedient.
That's it.
He's always scared.
We still here.
The Most High, man. That's why. That's what he severed in the beginning. That connection that Adam had, he's like, I got to break that because you untouchable.
And he usurped. He usurped that dominion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now your desire, even if you don't want to, is going to be like a woman. Yeah. Her desire is going to be after her. That don't necessarily mean the dude she say I do to, because sex was meant for marriage. So whenever you let that man penetrate you, you ever wonder why a dude, beat it up real good and all of a sudden you don't know what to do with yourself. You chasing Slim around. He did something to you. It's a curse. From your desire will be after whoever you choose to open your legs to.
Them joints are pervasive. They ain't never gonna stop. The curse he's setting the God in that joint.
Yeah. Sweat for your brow, you're supposed to work.
Yeah.
Paul said it, he made it clear in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 16, says, do you not know that he who was joined to a harlot is one body with her? For the two, he says, shall become one flesh. So when you sleep with someone, and that's what I had to go back and repent. Any person that you sleep with, whatever they had is now on you.
Mercy,
And unless somebody calls it out of you, or you call it out of yourself, it is with you to this day. It might have been 20 years ago.
Man, might have been longer than that.
Might be longer than that. It's still in you. And so you wonder why. Why is it that I read the Bible, I'm not understanding it, or I'm falling asleep, I don't have a love for it. I want to pray, but I'm falling asleep while I'm praying. There might be something there. There might be something there. But what really got me, and me just thinking about this right now, is the trajectory of our conversation yesterday at the church. I feel like it was going a certain direction. And, I don't know if he told you this, but it's like B was speaking. And we'll start with Damon. Damon was saying some powerful truth.
Damon was there.
Yeah,
And his baby starts crying.
louder and louder.
Right. And I thought about what you said. I think we was talking about how, the demon is trying to get you out of the situation when they know the truth is about to be. Trying to pull you out of it. And that baby crying, you know what I'm saying? And so he starts speaking, the baby's crying louder, and he's getting louder.
I had to get louder.
He had to get louder.
Okay.
I had to get louder to overpower the baby's crying.
And
The baby got quiet.
No. Baby's still.
He kept getting louder.
And
Still, he was like, he was hollering.
Yeah.
To the woman
He called her
across from
out.
me was like, you got to take her out. And as soon as she said, you got to take her out, you see what the devil doing. He's trying to drown me out. And then other people in the room was like, yeah, they be doing that during service too.
Was the baby crying or making noise?
Crying.
Wailing.
You know why? Because the demon was pinching that joke. Make all the noise you can so can't nobody hear this.
Man.
So
Took
baby
him
goes
out.
out. And the thing is, the person who took out the baby was the person who asked the question.
Yeah, man.
So she missed a lot of our conversation.
hold fast, Slim. Now that you point that out, the second thing that happened was her husband.
Wait, that's her husband?
That was her husband. She left with him.
So her husband is there with her
With their
daughter?
second daughter.
Who's
So they
like,
have a
10
baby
years
and they have
old?
she's probably like 4 or 5.
This dude that be doing the audio?
No, it's another dude. It's another
Wait,
brother.
the one that was in his lap?
Who with a sweater? Yes.
But she was older than that. Because there was another. The one, that
The
was
one who
older-
asked the initial question got up and left with the dude who had the black sweater on when the incident happened. So let me just put that out there. This brother who was not there when we first started overheard us because we was loud. We was the only ones in the room. He came in with Danny, and he came in and he sat down and he just started listening.
Yeah.
And Danny's his other brother, another dude. He came in there and he sat down. He had his girl who was with her at first, just laying on his chest, still quiet, not saying nothing. All of a sudden,
It starts throwing up.
and we saw it, and then after like 2 or 3 seconds, all over the place, all over him. The thing is, she only ate a couple potato chips. I saw that she was sitting next to me eating her food. She only ate like 3 or 4 potato chips. She threw up like she had eaten like a whole plate of haystacks. It all came out, and it shut down. It took him out the room because he had to go change his clothes, and then he left after that, so he didn't even hear the rest of the conversation. We while it was happening, we prayed right after it happened. And then they cleaned it up, and I mopped the joint up while they was talking or whatever. But it just happened. She was quiet. I ain't never seen a child so quiet. And it just came out like you would have thought she was an infant. The only time you see that is when an infant does it. Because the infant will just be sitting there, and you'll hold the infant, and the infant will be smiling in your face and blah. You talking about a 4, 5, 6-year-old child laying on his father's stomach still. And she was just like, blah.
That's probably why she was laying there still, because she was sick.
But it's the timing of it.
The timing.
The way the conversation was going. And it harkens me to Mark chapter 1, where Christ is speaking. He's preaching in the synagogue. And they were astonished, verse 22. Mark chapter 1, verse 22 says, they were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. And then in that moment, verse 23 says, now there was a man in their synagogue with an unclean spirit. And he cried out. Now, in my mindset, this dude probably has been in the synagogue for a long time and never made any kind of noise before. But now all of a sudden, he cries out saying, let us alone. What have we to do, verse 24 of Mark chapter 1, what have we to do with you, Christ? Because, it's not like Christ was speaking to the spirit. He was just preaching. He was preaching truth. And the demon feels tormented. And so the demon starts acting out and speaking out. Now, we may not see that today, but I believe that that's the same thing that happened here. What have you to do with us? Bradley, Darian, you know what I'm saying, Damon, why have you come to torment us? And I'm thinking back as to how it is, and of course Christ, tells them to come out, which is kind of what we did. We prayed over them because B was like, "Yo, pray. We need to pray right now."
As soon as it happened, I saw it.
And most I said, Nate needs, because Nate had just come in. Made him come in maybe a few minutes. He's like, that's your man right there. And he prayed a powerful prayer. And I don't think we had any other interruptions
We didn't.
after that.
Not after that. Nope.
But when truth is being preached and hearts are being changed, or potentially being changed, then the demons, not only do they want to distract, but they feel threatened. They feel extremely
Tormented.
threatened. That's why it says, have you come to torment us? Did you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of the Most High.
And then in addition to all this, when we leave from doing the work of the Most High, the devil goes ham on me and Darren at the
Both of
same
us.
instantly. I ain't never had it happen so fast. My mother called me, and in her state, man, this is all I'm gonna say. I became upset on a compound of things from what she was telling me over the phone, from the traffic on 295, which ain't make no daggone sense, that I was stuck in, wall to wall, standstill traffic, who had me take an hour home. I called Darian just to vent, and I hear stuff going on in the background with him. He said, let me call you back in 20 minutes. And then when he hung up the phone, I was feeling bad because I was like, man, I shouldn't have dumped all that on him. Let me just pray. But I'm pissed now. Like, in my spirit, I'm angry. I'm in my head, all types of expletives and profanity. I was like, don't ask me to come in this motherfucker. You gonna be. I'm just in my head. I ain't verbalizing it, but it's up here. My storm is just brewing. So I'm laying in my room by myself, and it's going. And Darren called me back. And he's like, man, I can hear in his voice. He's like, I'm going through it. Devil was attacking. What did we do? We prayed instantly. And as soon as I got off that phone, I was cool as a cucumber, as if it had never happened. It was unexplainable. And I was like, I ain't never seen this happen. So then Holy Spirit played detective. He's like, think about what happened today. All the things that were put in place with the children that were up there joint lunching, going crazy. That we got 2 opportunities to do further ministry from that. Danny, who provides free meals to children who can't get food in the morning before they go to school, wants to partner with us. Then that other woman who teaches 6th, 7th, 8th grade at that high school wants to get us to come to her public school to talk to the 6th, 7th, 8th graders. 2 opportunities to minister from that one little joint. And the biggest testimony of all is when we first got up there, wasn't nobody there.
Nobody was there.
Candace was like, I'm about to call this joint off.
Yeah.
I go in the bathroom. Something said while I was in the bathroom, I was like, when I come out, I bet Clax is out there. He going to be the first one to sing. I go out, he in the multi-purpose room. I was like, young.
Matter of fact, when I came in, Candace opened the door for me, and I said, "Where we at?" Because she saw my shirt. I had the shirt on.
She had the shirt on.
And she's like, "Well, we gonna cancel, because nobody came." And I said, "If one person comes, we gonna be here." She said, "All right, that's all right."
And then this old woman walks up, says she know you. She's like, "Oh, you be with my godson, OJ."
Yeah, my
she had a
spiritual
little
son.
gray fro. She's
Yeah.
big. She's tall. She's a little tall. You know what I'm saying? She's big. You probably know if you saw her. But she said she was
Tanya.
gonna come.
Did she say her name was Tanya?
She didn't tell us. I
her
don't
name.
remember her name.
I think she might have mentioned her name.
She
I'm
said
bad
she
with
was gonna
names,
sit down with us. She didn't even.
Yeah, she didn't come.
She was sent to keep us there.
Yeah.
Because right after she said that, we was like, all right, we here.
Oh yeah.
Because she was like, we gonna talk
be
about something. And she
Was them
never
2
even
brothers
came.
there? So they be having the color in his hair. So was it, remember the ones that Candace wanted us to holler at?
Nah, they weren't there. I know who you're talking about. They were not there. The majority of what was in that room were women and children. And then Damon came in, Akeem came, Nate came, and
Danny and the other dude.
Danny and the other dude showed up. And then late, when we finished, Tommy came in. Like, when the whole joint was over, Tommy came. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, praise y'all that he made it way over there. You know what I'm saying? I said a little something to him. I was like, man, just,
But I just gotta remind. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, bro.
We just have to be reminded because we get so complacent, man. We think that because I'm thinking what we didn't seem to be
that big. Yeah.
It's not like we were going like I think I've told stories on here before about going to see someone that was dealing with witchcraft and dealing with demonic possession, and so I had a number of obstacles, otherworldly obstacles. I was like, obviously that makes sense that the enemy would try to prevent me from going there. But I'm like, what was profound about that? Just young people,
We didn't even know how the program would go.
Yeah, no idea.
We went in there, and as soon as we sat down, then it was given. Let's write down topics on pieces of paper.
Yeah.
We're going to pass them up front. We're going to read them openly. This is a safe spot.
Right.
Whatever's voiced in here is going to stay in here, and we're going to handle it from there. And only 2 topics were brought forward, but they carried
whole
us for
show,
2 hours.
2 hours.
What were the 2 topics?
The first topic was homosexuals
leadership
leading out in
in
the
the
church,
church.
and the second one was how do you deal with
teens.
preteens in this age who don't listen and don't seem to take direction from the older people. And those 2 topics made the conversation branch into a plethora of a bunch of stuff that people needed to hear and needed
You
to get
don't
off their
think
chest.
you don't think that's something that the devil didn't want to take place?
I'm
Those
saying
2
we
topics
have to,
right there.
Yeah, I'm saying that we have to.
We just didn't know.
We have to change our thinking
we didn't
because
say-
I can be like, well, even after the fact, I'm like, okay, that's good conversation. That's deep stuff. But to the point where we have this kind of spiritual attack, this kind of spiritual backlash.
We didn't know
Like,
the
I'm like,
gravity.
So every time you out representing the Most High in whatever capacity,
Yeah, man.
you represent Him to the point where devil's going to get some get back every single time. It may not be as deep as what we went through, but it's always going to be there.
We gonna bust off on you.
Yeah.
We know every time we leave out this studio,
Yeah.
we already know what
Yeah,
what
we
Monday
already
gonna be
know.
like.
Right.
It ain't always like, but by Wednesday,
Right.
man,
Or when we have an event on Saturday, y'all. The week coming, I remember the first
gotta
time
know
this
it, though.
happened. I called this man. It was like it was when we was going to what's that church that we was first at? I can't.
in Jersey.
That joint,
Or
but
DuPont.
it wasn't DuPont. It was the other joint that we was Metro. When we had them youth joints in Metro, we had this huge youth joint. It was like one of the first time we had everybody sit in a circle. The week leading up to that joint, bruh, I wasn't hip, but from then I was. But at that time, I didn't see. I'm talking about work, home. My car's jacking up. My house was jacking. Everything was jacked up. Mother calling me upset for no reason, and I called this man. All he said was, "Man, bruh," and that was it. I was like, "Young."
You too.
He's like, "Just don't." He's like, "Whatever we doing this weekend, we gotta bust his tail," and that's all. I was like, "That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. Whatever we doing this weekend, we gotta bust his tail because he been whooping on us all week, and it's been like that ever since. But now we're ready for it because we expect it. We expect that, man.
But we also have to make sure that we don't bring anything of our own into the situation because there's 2 type of trials. There's the trials that the Most High puts on us. We have that hedge of protection around us like Job. Most High is boasting. Have you considered my servant Orlando? So that's the one. You perfect in all your ways, perfect in that you're being obedient. And then there's the things where you have something, so you're being a minister of the Most High, but you got something going on. Something that you knowingly is giving an open door to the devil. Or even unknowingly. I mean, I've had situations where I didn't realize that this thing that I was doing, this thing I had in my house, it could be a file on my computer that I didn't even know was there. I found stuff. I thought I cleaned out my computer. I find something was not supposed to be there. Most High was like, bam. So there are things we can unknowingly or even knowingly bring into the table. So we have to make sure we are prayed up. We have to be examining ourselves on a regular basis. And that's why these things happen. They're glimpses that as powerful as we think that we are, even with the Most High, there's still some changes need to be made in our lives. If we're going to get to that next level of doing that real damage to the enemy's kingdom.
Yeah, yesterday was it seems like that though, because I mean I don't ever come to this show on Sunday wondering what we're gonna talk about, because me and him then sat down and had many conversations, all conversations pretty much. Ain't never planned. We ain't never really looked at no script, but it's just like the day right before the days leading up. He's like, this is what it is. And from that initial topic, we branch into everything else, man. But I will say that all of it is a testimony, just because that's what we're doing right now. All of it, we can see a lesson that needs to be learned, or that was learned, and an expectation for what should happen the next time. But it is all for the purpose of building our faith. Because let me tell you, it's getting rough, bruh. It is getting rough around here. I done heard about so many things happening in this world, like this Gender Equality Act that's coming out that's essentially going to erase the lines of gender and religious freedom and everything. But we know that's going to happen. Right. We know religious freedoms are going to be stripped of us in this country, and people, and they just don't care. Like, I'm talking about the mandatory inclusion of people who consider themselves they, and people who consider themselves not man or woman, and got some. I mean, just blatant disregard for what is real, because I feel this way. I'm a man. I got everything that says I'm a man, but you better refer to me as her, or else I can have you strung up, or just jailed up, or something like that. And I'm like, dog, that's a frightening place to be. What it reminds me of is how bad stuff got in Sodom and Gomorrah. Because them brothers wasn't just in Sodom and Gomorrah practicing homosexuality. They was aggressively. Like the mentality of a man was, what can I do to be a better, like competition usually gets us going as men. You know what I'm saying? Or what we used to do, dialogue about sports. If I know more about sports, then I'm a bigger man than you. Or we stepping out on the court or on the field or wherever and we competing. If I beat you, I'm the best. The mindset there was, I'm a better man, so I'm a you. And that's how I'm going to show that I'm the man. And as many men in here as I can get at like that, think about what them jokers said to the angels that was in Lot's house. It's not, forget the girls,
Those
bro.
men deserve to die. They all deserve to burn.
Yeah.
That's what they did. That's your attitude.
That's how
I'm
they
more of a man
carried
than you,
it.
so I'm gonna rough your butt.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
They was after that. That's how they rolled. They was like, we saw the two new dudes walking in here. They must not know about us. Keep your daughters. Send them out. And the angels was like, you want us?
I don't think you want that smoke.
No, he's like, you really want us? No, Lot tried to help him. Lot was like, no, he's like, no, let me give you my daughters, because you don't want these brothers. Blindness. Get back in that. Matter of fact, get your stuff and get out, and don't turn around, because we about to lay this. We about to level this whole joint to the ground. Sulfur so pure that it cannot be matched on this planet.
Now,
Man.
you know what's interesting? Which of the 12 tribes would you say of Israel would you say is the weakest, or the smallest?
Smallest?
Oh man, I don't know. Wasn't it Gideon's tribe? What was Gideon from?
If you broke them down into individual tribes, I'd probably say Benjamin.
Benjamin. Okay.
Okay.
You know why?
He was the youngest. That would be my first thought.
I thought that too, until I realized that story in Genesis 19 about Sodom and Gomorrah is essentially repeated in Judges chapter 19. Same thing happens in the land of Benjamin. And what ends up happening was, so you have this traveler that comes, it's a Levite. He's traveling with his concubine. And they go into the land of Benjamin, and there's someone invites him in. It's like, you don't want to stay outside. Someone invites him in. And these people come banging on the door. Yo, we saw the man that you brought. Bring him out so we may know him carnally. And the master of the house was like, nah, don't do this. This is verse 23. Judges chapter 19, verse 23. Don't do this. This man has come into my house. Look, here is my virgin daughter and the man's concubine. Let me bring them out now. Humble them and do what you please, but to this man do not do such a vile thing. But the man would not heed him, so the Levite throws his concubine out there, right?
Yeah.
And so they just ravish her all night.
Yeah.
All night.
They leave her body.
Leave her body,
Yep.
and in the morning, he opens the door. She's lifeless. She's
Lifeless,
dead.
yeah.
And so he's so upset, he cuts her up into pieces.
Yep. Sends her
And
to
sends
the
it out to
different-
all
yep.
the other tribes. Say, yo, look at what these Benjamites did. We going to war right now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Like what happened.
Get your guns, get your whatever, what have you.
taking them out.
We're taking them out.
We
And so
slaughtered
they did
everybody.
a slaughter
They
to the
slaughtered
point that they had
everybody.
to find wives for the remaining Benjamites because they didn't want the tribe to die out. It's a sick story, completely sick. And but what's interesting though is it came up in Water for the Thirsty, where the power, the specificity of prayer, because in chapter 20, all the other tribes are mad. I mean, they're trying to get some retaliation versus the tribe of Benjamin. And so the prayer to Yahweh is not, should we go and revenge? You know, they say, who should go up first? So they made up in their mind, we're going to get some revenge. Who's going to go up first? And Yahweh responds, Judah. And they go up, get their tail handed to them. Like 20,000 of them jokers get wiped out. So they go up, since they pray again. Another 20,000 get wiped out. Then they fast and they pray. They put away their sins and they get really right with him. And then again, that's when they get the victory. I invite you, if you have never read that, because I remember
this
across that
story.
story. Yeah, it's maybe
It
only
was a while
5
back.
years ago.
But this is stuff they ain't talked about in
Nah,
church, man.
nah.
These type of stories, I be
People
blown.
skip these
I be like,
chapters,
yeah, why
yeah.
y'all ain't talk about if? Why? Because it's too touchy or too real?
Yeah.
Who was Amalek?
Amalek was, I believe, a descendant of Esau, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Edomites.
What are you looking at? Yours bad
First
Bible's in
Samuel 15.
Spanish.
It's a bilingual Bible, yeah.
Okay, I was like, why does it say Wessis there?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sorry, it's Oasis, huh?
Flip back. I mean, it's like and it's funny. We started out. Something about rape was mentioned, and most I took you to a story where because a young lady got raped, he ended up dogging almost a whole tribe
Right.
as a result of these foolish man's actions. But now you know I've been flipping and looking what I see that's highlighted, right? I believe I believe the Most High has anointed us to do something. Number one, it ain't gonna be easy. Number two, it ain't gonna be pretty. Number three, it's gonna be very violent. And I don't necessarily mean in a literal killing people way. You know what I'm saying? But this is what he said. Samuel also said, chapter 15, verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts. I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not, but slay both man, woman, infant, and suckling, ox and sheep, camel, and ass. I don't know what happened when they came up out of Egypt. I'm not sure exactly what's being talked about. They laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt, and because the Most High remembered it. He remembered what he did to his people.
Exodus chapter 17, I think, was the first time we see the Amalekites. That's the one where Moses has his hands up, and Joshua's out there fighting, and when his hands is up, they're winning. When his hands is down, they're losing. And so he gets a couple of brothers to hold his hands up until the victory is won. That's the first time we see the Amalekites. The Amalekites were basically cowards. So they would attack, you know what I'm saying, the weaklings, they would attack the rear, and they would just dip. So they would do these raids. And I don't know what others, there's plenty of other texts. Exodus 16 is the only one in my mind now. But they would just do these sniper attacks. Like back then it was like, okay, we are going to be in such and such place, you bring your army, we're going to battle it out. That's the way, that was the rules of war. They weren't following, they were on some guerrilla warfare type thing, it was very cowardly.
So, they some suckers. They hide, they want to sneak you. You know what I'm saying? They want to catch you when you ain't paying attention.
Right.
You know, when you a little out of your right mind, they want to come and try to. So, the system that's in place, the religious system that's in place today, could be viewed as Amalek.
Okay, how so?
Deceptive. They sneaky, they crafty. They're not outwardly telling you that we're effing you over internally, but follow us and you can buy your way into heaven. That's BS. You know this. You know what I'm saying? And maybe not, but you know, they run up on you from behind. You know, ain't necessarily going to address you face to face. You know, they want to infiltrate your thinking with garbage to get you to act the way they want you to act. I don't know that they did that, but what we've been anointed to do by the Most High is go and smite them and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not. You cannot try to find a way to go easy on somebody when the truth needs to be told. And when these people have been the enemy of truth, creating other little enemies of truth that don't know. And the only reason they're an enemy of it is because they don't have a love for it. It ain't that you don't care, you don't know that you need to be caring. Who is going to reveal to these people? It was going to be the Most High ultimately, but he anoint thee, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee as king. He said, thus saith, he said, hearken thou unto the voice of the words of Yahweh. He's used the way that you step. It's so addicting. The way that you move.
The way that you move. Oh man, I know what you're talking about.
So when you talk, I can't help but listen. This track is gonna be mean when it come out, but his voice, the voice of the words hearken unto the voice of the words of Yahweh. The voice of the word. I mean, that just sounds so like that. The voice of the words. Like I'm saying, I just said voice of the words, but it's as if the words have their own voice. They're telling you. The words I'm speaking are telling you to do something, to listen to something. And that is, go, smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they had. We got to completely redo this BS system that's been put together.
Now, how do we do it? Because obviously
through seeking truth.
Obviously, we're not smiting and killing people.
I mean, you gotta uproot the delusion. You gotta uproot the lie.
You got water.
You got to uproot the lie. Okay. That's how we're going to do it. Utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and, that means everybody that considers themselves a seasoned vet in this thing, the little baby joints that started, the small churches that are just getting started, the seedlings or whatever that's just getting started, man, slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, those that are out there putting the work in the field, camels and asses. You know what I'm saying? Get all of them. Or those ox, sheep, camels, and asses may be referencing groups of people. I don't know. But it's everything that this the Amalek or whatever this group, whatever they've established by their trickery and deceit and hiding and catching jokers off guard, somebody's been anointed to utterly destroy it.
It's like what we concluded last night when we left the joint. We scatter and
cry
seed.
aloud and spare not.
We scatter and seed, man. When we went in there, that's what we told them we doing. It's like we said a lot of things that caused people to think last evening.
I feel
we were scattering seed.
I think enough seed. I ain't gonna say enough seed has been scattered to the point we don't need to scatter no more. As far as the seeding process, they have machines where they will aerate and seed at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So they may even have machines that dethatch, aerate, and seed at the same time. So the whole renovation process is taking place in one machine.
What is aerate?
Aerate, when you poke holes in the ground to open it up. You got the machine that just pokes and drops a little bit.
Right,
And dethatching is getting the dead grass out.
Okay.
Ultimately for the seed. But the machine is doing it all at the same time. A function of that machine is to scatter seed. Another function is to poke holes in this BS. And somebody else got to rake all the dead garbage out the way. You dig what I'm saying? And he's trying to build a fully functional, fully equipped machine. And I think our thinking needs to evolve beyond scattering seed and start wanting to poke holes in this mess. Want to pull out the dead stuff. That's what my desire is. I want all the BS out the way so I can see clearly. And I believe that's what his desire is. He wants to show us, but we got fog all through our mind and we think we know. We think we know, but we perish for a lack of knowledge.
Now peep this. Just how you lived a good portion of your life under one delusion, you got some light. Who's to say that there's not more light? Who's to say there's not still
I'm positive.
more delusion?
I'm positive it's more light.
There's more light. With more light means there's more delusion. So we think that we have the veil pulled over our eyes and we've seen clearly now. We're not. So we're just walking within the light that we have. It's the desire for seeking truth. Someone may have the desire and they haven't reached the level that I've reached. You know what I mean? So I believe in poking holes. I believe in saying, dig deeper. That's what one of the most powerful things that you have ever said is dig deeper. I think that should always be the message. Don't accept what you've been given as if it's gospel. Don't expect, and it came out yesterday. Mm-hmm. You cannot be reliant on the brother up front. Even if he's speaking truth. Yep. Even if he's speaking truth, if that is your only meal, you will starve. We got to get out of drinking spiritual milk and say, you know what, I'm hungry. I need to eat. I'm not waiting for somebody else. I'm not crying because I'm not getting fed.
Feed me, right.
I'm going to go out and get that meat, whatever it takes. So that's what we need to be on that level. We are. I like to think that I'm there because I'm not going to let myself be walled in by what has been taught to me.
Right.
I think once you have that mindset, scattering seeds is planting that idea. Because the complacency is like, well, okay, as long as I'm in this institution, I'm going to get truth. And if I'm seeking truth within those walls, then everything I find has just been someone scattering crumbs trying to lead me somewhere else.
This one time I tried to get into this party off a plug. And I said, my man such and such said that I can get in. He said, tell him. I can't think his name was Rick or Rob or something. Tell him Rob said let you get in or whatever. He's like, man, I don't know Rob. Can't go off of Rob's word. So I don't know you either. It's card rebuke. I'm talking this in front of people.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, so what can we do to work this out? He's like, let me tell you what to do.
$75.
Exactly. That type of move. But I've been in that position before, so I understood it. But the lesson was not lost on me. You can't get to the pearly gates, even get that high. And it's like, hey, Pastor Johnson said,
no, sir.
Get up in there. Everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know Pastor Johnson.
Yeah.
You don't know me either. Who are you? Can't get in.
Remember that passage in Acts 19 with the sons of Sceva? Peter I know, Paul I know, who are you? As a matter of fact, I heard a pastor break it down. I actually checked what he said. The Greek says, who the are you? You see what I'm saying?
Whoa.
So
know that crap.
you can't just be calling out, not even just calling out the pastor's name, acting like you got a relationship with the Most High.
Yeah.
And when to go in and do warfare on his ground, devil will leave you naked. That's what happened to them. All them brothers and sons of Sceva that tried to use the same power of the Ruach ended up buck naked, embarrassed. Can happen to every single one of us. Yeah, you don't. That is a weapon. You don't want that.
That type of shame. Dude.
No.
If anything, you'd be blessed to come out here with your life so you can learn from that lesson and then give it. Because you get your butt whooped that bad.
Right.
You can't go back to making
like
that
to think
same
so.
mistake. It might be necessary. I'm just. It's just like Brent said that when he was in here. He was like, I don't need God to chastise me that hard. Just tell me a little bit, and I'll heed to that. He's like, I don't want the big embarrass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll hear his voice and go from there, man.
Problem is sometimes we need that.
Sometimes,
Like he been trying to warn us, and we just ain't listening. Like the stories you're telling about trying to go into the club, and
Sometimes.
you know what I mean. Like we're not obedient, so he's got to up the ante until he gets our attention,
he
whatever
does
it
too,
takes.
man. He does it. Mercy, he does it. He has to. I mean, he's trying to save us by any means necessary. He's trying to make sure let me rephrase that. I'm saved. I want to stay that way. I don't want to get blotted out.
That's it.
I don't want to get blotted out. I'm in there.
The names are there.
We're in there. All of us in there. We don't want to get blotted out. That's what we don't want. Oh man. Was there another topic? Anything else that you didn't talk about yesterday? You got anything to say about
The wedding.
Yeah. You had a whole 48 hours. I ain't seen you. I know something happened.
A whole lot happened.
I know it.
A whole lot transpired. I mean, from I thank the Most High for growth, for change, and it ain't even always something that's outwardly visible to the people around you, because as humans, we allow ourselves to be blinded by what we see. You see it, and it automatically you become blind, even though it's not that big a deal. But since you can see it, you don't see anything else. I see Brad's glasses right here. And I don't see Stan anymore. I don't see you. I'm my periphery, even though I'm looking at the glasses. I don't see them two chairs. You know what I'm saying? Or the man shaking his head, but I'm looking at you. You know what I'm saying? Our vision don't work no more because my focus would have been on these glasses. So in the interview, we sometimes focus on stuff with people. And we miss it. The Most High used me to help in a couple situations. You know, with my man's wedding. That's gotta be Damon. Oh, me. Hey, he used me to help with my man's situation, you know, and kept things moving, you know. And it's interesting because I was in my mother and my stepfather's wedding, and I was my man, called my cousin Mark's best man. As a groomsman, you know what I'm saying, I don't really have a big role. You just usher one of the bridesmaids in and stand there and just try not to sweat too much, you know what I'm saying?
Let your legs fall out while you standing.
I had to keep rocking back and forth.
You got to. You got to, man.
Little
Them
Nat
shoes.
kept messing with me, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, the shoes is terrible.
Shoes
well,
is always.
they look good with the suit.
Yeah, they
Felt
do. But
like I
man,
had boxes on my feet.
Exactly.
You know
It's
what I'm
always
saying?
like that.
But you know, it's met some good people, met some new people. It felt good moving around downstairs and seeing grown men who thought they were ready to rock and roll, but their collar wasn't all the way down, or the suit coat was flipped up right here, or they had some lint on them. I'm precision. You know what I'm saying? And that joint, I walk that precision.
Yeah.
Every detail counts.
Right.
I'm popping niggas' bow ties. I ain't supposed to be like that. Where your ties? Where your pocket square? I'm folding Joker's pocket. I had 3 points. Grandfather,
3 points, yeah.
Hey, look, 3 colors was showing. I don't even know
okay.
how
Yeah.
the Most High
I
did it.
know it was multiple.
I folded it. I was like, oh snap! All 3 colors of the joint is
When it
showing.
fall like that, it'd be
Got the
smooth.
coordinate. Yeah.
It'd be smooth.
I ain't taking nothing away from the brothers that just, you know, they don't care to do it like they used to do it back in the day. They just stick shorty in there and pull it up a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Whatever floats your boat.
You're next level. That's all right.
It has to be a certain way.
Don't let it sink.
But he you know, you got to keep. But that's why a pen is, you know. But that's
Yeah.
tricks and tricks. You got to use a safety pin or something. But it was a beautiful ceremony. You know what I'm saying? Proud of my man. He made that move. It was the reception that I thank the Most High that, because the devil tried to show up at the reception. You know, it was an afterthought to bless the food. I ain't knocking nothing that happened, but I heard some comments that the food wasn't all that good. Maybe it's because the blessing was after the, I don't know. I ate. Things was going. They were going. And towards almost the end of the night, it was like just stuff just started happening. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was stuff with people that was in the actual wedding party or like the DJ, some stuff was going on. I could see the devil trying to start something. And all praise to the Most High, man. As much as I don't know what I looked like, you know, as I was moving around, but I didn't. Everybody couldn't get hype. Everybody couldn't get animated. Everybody couldn't, or it was too many of us together there, and you know we were, you know, we grew up together. So if Dex hype, Lionel hype, Michi get amped, E get amped. It's only a matter of time before everything blow up, and that would not have been good for the location we was at. You know what I'm saying? So all praise to the Most High, nothing jumped off. You know, we kept the situation calm. I'm not even gonna go into everything that transpired.
You used to talk about hype. You talking about hype as far as like something popping
I'm
off.
talking about stuff just wasn't look. Stuff just kept not looking right.
Okay.
And there were things happening.
If people could have, yeah, okay.
It could have easily went to the left because there was a lot of.
I'm thinking hype like
That's
party,
too.
like
Yeah.
party.
I mean, we partied here and there sporadically. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, I ain't gonna talk about the DJ.
I got you.
But there were breaks. There were moments where it was partying, and there were moments where it wasn't. But it was some of the people that came up that were there. You know, security. I don't know if they call themselves security or not, but I could see the enemy using him to push buttons. You know, using him to push buttons because he was doing too much. My man rented this spot, paid money. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be there till 1. DJ started packing up at like 10:45. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Thought he was supposed to be there till 11. I'm like, I'm asking people. I heard 1 o'clock from the bride. I heard 1 o'clock from the groom. I'm asking other people. Oh, well, we generally don't stay up until like they don't do stuff until like 11. They end at like 11. I'm like, I want to Dex know that they generally shut stuff down at 11. He paid until 1. The DJ was supposed to be there till 1. That bride ended up I was surprised. Lights came on, but he handled the situation.
Yeah.
And then lights went back off. The music started playing again. So I'm like, okay, we must come party to 1. Something else transpired, and he was like, man, look, let's clean up and get out of here. I was like, oh, bro, but I mean, it was like, and then something was about to happen right there. Something was about to happen right there. Something was about to happen right there. I just went over by a little bar, and to be honest with you, I can't honestly say I prayed. I cannot honestly say I prayed, but I know I did.
You said something.
I centered my thinking on the Most High need. I guess I did pray then.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like it was just like, Joe.
Yeah, man.
That's all it is.
The Most High, you gotta do something. Cause I'm like, man, I felt what was in me starting to take control, and I'm like, I didn't even feel intoxicated, but I was getting to a point where I was like, man, I'm about to throttle one of these niggas for old time's sake. You know what I'm saying? But I know for a fact I'd have been the first one down saluted. Joe, they go, we got this one now. Let's put him under the jail. All praise to the Most High. And it was a lot more that transpired. It was a lot more beautiful. You know, got a chance to, give a little toast to my man. And a ministry opportunity came out of that. I did a little tribute to him and his wife. And the lady was like, they're having a program, I want to say in Virginia Beach.
Oh yeah.
June something. I gave her information.
Yeah.
She was like, it's a gospel like concert type joint.
Right.
And I was like, we do Sermonic Flow. I broke down to what Sermonic Flow was. I told her about Hood Proud. We don't necessarily sing, even though I sung a little piece of the song. But I mean, and more opportunities are gonna come from that.
We have a request for our music in Idaho.
So we're gonna be look
on a station called Power 88. that my engineer told me about this morning. He's like, I let him hear a little bit of what I've been working on. He said, can we get all of that? He said, all of that.
Everybody wants it, man.
Man, it's coming. It's
Somebody
coming.
behind you.
It's coming, man.
It is coming.
It's coming.
I told y'all that. It's coming.
It is coming, man.
Hey, it's amazing, man. I was listening to y'all on the way here. One of y'all said something about people don't know what they need, but when the Holy Spirit give it to them, they gonna feel completed. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I am about having truth and understanding. Right now, I'm on an island. I always feel like I'm on an island by myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm starting to get so bothered by the fact that it seems to me like nobody wants to be on the island with me, you know? And it's painful, you know? But I know in time the Most High is going to do what he's going to do. I'm not trying to speed his process up, but, and y'all said it earlier too, you know, there was a time when we didn't know what we know now.
Yeah.
All praise to the Most High, he brought us somewhere else, but man, that's like, now think about it like this. That's like a kid telling their parent, oh, I don't got to tighten up and get my life together because you did it when you was older. I'm just a child. That's ignorant. We living in the last days, Joe. Like real live, man. Like, and people really don't have an understanding of what that means, man. There ain't no time to keep waiting. You see what I'm saying? Like real live, man. Man, I get so disgusted watching social media, seeing what's going on in the world with my people, though. Man. The dude he was talking about, the one that was supposed to be in security, that was starting stuff, a black man. Protecting these white people's establishment when wasn't nothing to protect. We wasn't doing nothing. Don't take cups outside. Now you can't even go outside. The world. Enemy just trying to keep on trying to. I felt like I was a peacemaker last night. Go from this situation to that situation, to this situation to that situation.
Hey man, let me affirm you on something, Slim. Cause it's like we were talking about earlier when we talked about the program yesterday. We didn't see the significance of that for the devil to manifest himself as much as he did. But you be sending me stuff on IG, I'll be looking at it, Slim. And that joint be seeking in. I don't say stuff all the time. You can ask, I don't comment on a lot of stuff. My job, not my job, but my temperament has always been the one of observation. Because I let him put the puzzle pieces together. He always says, Brad, this is the big picture. I know specifically, I don't know about everybody else. Always told me he's detail oriented. I get details from him. Most times I was like, okay, now take this piece, this piece, this piece. This is what I'm showing. You already got the full picture, bro. I'm still getting the jump, but I'm getting it nonetheless because I'm waiting for him to assemble. That island that you on, you might as well start building some ports and some buildings for people to get in because the ships is coming. They just ain't in sight yet, but they coming. They definitely coming, man.
Well, keep me in prayer though, because every passing day it get worse. You know what I'm saying?
Now you see why Elijah was like, man, just kill me, Slim.
Real live, man.
But you're not alone. And that's the same thing that Most High told Elijah. You think that you all by yourself. Don't get it twisted. I got 7,000 brothers and sisters on the same, feeling the same way you are. You know
There's a brother in every city in this country who's on another island. The ships just ain't come out there yet, man. We already know that the number of the lost will be like the sand of the seashore, Joe. We know that. Everybody ain't going to receive it. People.
We know that sea of glass is going to have a number that
True.
no man can
No
number.
man can number. I just pray to be caught up in it,
I
man.
just want to crush everything that's not of my Father.
Yeah.
Everything. That's all.
Bow your head. Most High Hashem. You heard the requests of your servants. You've heard the petitions. You've heard what's in our hearts. You know what it is you put us here to do. What I'm asking you to do right now through the power of your son, Yahweh Shai, is light a fire in our minds to illuminate the fog and burn the strong delusion to its core. Be with all the prayer requests that went up. You know who needs what and where, and you know what we need. I'm asking you to step into this week, and whatever the devil got planned hold it at bay, give us the ability to discern and determine beforehand when and where the devil has his people posted so we can avoid those situations and avoid those individuals and avoid those conversations and avoid those feelings and avoid those thoughts. Give us the ability to do that. Fix what's broken, heal what's hurting, and restore what we, by way of choice, has tainted. Forgive us for all our iniquities and save us in your kingdom when you come. This is my prayer in Yahweh Shai's name. Amen.
Man. This has been Real Talk 101, Sunday afternoon from 6 to 8 p.m. We thank you for joining us, and until the next time, may Yah bless and keep you.
Seek truth.
It is obvious that the mark of the beast comes with the greatest condemnation in the Bible. And it comes with the severest sentence in the Bible, and it is handed down by the eternal judge. Say amen if you understand what I'm saying. Those who receive the mark of the beast are those who will receive the greatest condemnation and the most severe sentence from the eternal judge. The most awesome threats in all the New Testament are against those who choose man's law ahead of God's law. The 7 last plagues, Revelation 16, they fall upon those who receive the mark of the beast. And I read to you from Revelation 14 that God's wrath will be poured out without mixture. Every time God has sent judgments in the earth, it has been mixed with mercy. They have been mixed with mercy and grace. But when the final time comes, probation will have closed. It'll be too late to pray. The decree will have gone forth. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And when that happens, probation closes. No more sermons. You don't have to come to church anymore. You don't have to listen to a preacher anymore. It's too late now. The jig is up.